The NFL season is finally here, and man, it's going to be a rough season for the Texans. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video on Manav Sports Talk. I am your host Manav, and in this video, I'm doing my 2021 Houston Texans season preview, basically going over the 53-man roster, what to look out for, taking a look at all the position groups, and just making my season prediction at the end on what I think the record will be for the Texans. So first off, I'm going to be starting off with the QB battle, and we found out earlier this week that Tyrod Taylor is going to be the starting quarterback for the Houston Texans. In free agency, he signed a one-year $12.5 million deal and is now the Texans quarterback this year, and I think all Texans fans have accepted that the Deshaun situation is just getting crazier and out of hand, and he's going to play for the Texans realistically. And Tyrod, what to expect out of him? He's a solid player. He's a good leader. His touchdown to interception ratio has been good throughout his career, and because of the injuries to him recently, he may not run as much, although he's still a dual threat quarterback. You're going to get average quarterback production out of Tyrod Taylor, just somebody you plug in right now for the time being with everything up in the air right now. Look, I'm excited to see what he does, but you're not going to see a lot of big plays like Deshaun did throwing those deep bombs. You're not going to see a lot of that, but Tyrod, I think, was a good signing for this team. And Davis Mills, the backup quarterback, in the third round. He was the first selection for the Texans in this draft. Thanks, Bill O'Brien. And honestly, I think Davis Mills was a very interesting pick. I did not think that the Texans would take a quarterback. He was considered a first-round talent, but he did not have enough playing experience at Stanford because of COVID and the Pac-12 and all that stuff. He's a pretty smart player. NFL QB has those intangibles, and he fits what a QB is in the NFL according to Coach Culley. And he can make the plays accurate. He's an accurate quarterback. He does not have any mobility. So the Texans were just trying to get another Tom Brady. And honestly, if this is the guy, if Tyrod Taylor really doesn't work out, you bring in Davis Mills later on in the season, see how he does. If he actually turns out to be like the guy you can trust, it would be a big steal in this draft, because next year we are getting first-round picks. I'm excited to see what he did. In the preseason, he did okay. In that first game, didn't get a lot of showing, but I think he's a very interesting player to watch, and I'm very hoping he can become the answer, because that would really, really help out the Texans. And I'm interested to see how he does with this team. So that's pretty much a quarterback battle. I think Tyrod Taylor's got it in right now, and we'll see if Davis Mills will get starts later on this season. Now, the wide receiver room is pretty stacked up today. We got the news just today, a couple hours ago. That hometown boy, Danny Amendola, signed the deal, 1 year, $2.5 million for the Houston Texans at the slot receiver position. He helps fill up a spot there. Even with guys like Anthony Miller, you need more depth there. Danny Amendola, I think that's a good pick. And, the Patriots South, once again, we keep choosing players from the Patriots, and these one-year deals that Nick Caserio keeps doing, honestly, seem pretty good to me. I want to talk about Nico Collins, the third-round pick from Michigan that we got. Pretty good size, 6'4", 250. And he's a prototype. He has a big jump ball type guy. He can catch those deep throws. Short and intermediate, still questionable, but he did have this big touchdown in the preseason against the Packers. I want to see what he can do jump ball-wise. I think he'd be pretty fun to watch. He has speed even with that big size that he has. I'm very interested to see what he does. I'm excited for this young wide receiver room. Besides the fact we have Amendola and Cooks, Anthony Miller is still a very young player. Anthony Miller, I think we traded him for a 5th-round pick. I think it was a good trade to get a young, fast receiver like him. That's a playmaker. He had 49 receptions for 485 yards last season. I really like getting him there. And then Brandon Cooks probably is the best player on this team right now. A very, very good receiver. And, he doesn't want any trades. He's going to stay here right in Houston. I'm not sure if he's going to get to 1,000 yards this season with Tyrod. He did last season 81 catches for 1,150 yards and 6 touchdowns. He was great for the Texans last year if he fit into the system. He's the wide receiver number 1, no doubt. Tyrod is definitely going to be looking to go to him. I just don't know if we're going to see those big plays from him anymore. And then Chris Conley, he's another free agent pickup who I think was good. He's a solid, fast receiver, and he had 40 receptions for 471 yards with Jacksonville last season. And who knows, maybe he put up a good performance in week 1 against his former team. Who knows? And then we also have Andre Roberts, by the way, who I think should be the kick return specialist. We also have, Desmond King. I think Andre Roberts should be the kick returner, and Desmond King is a punt returner. But this wide receiver room is very deep. You have a lot of potential receivers here that could play. Brandon Cooks, to me, is by far the wide receiver number 1. But, I think everybody is going to get involved equally. I think that should be fun to see. And now the running back room, that's also pretty heavy. David Johnson, last season he was a starting running back. This year I think he might be the third down back because of his catching. David Johnson had 147 rush attempts or 691 yards and 6 touchdowns last season. I thought he did pretty good considering, that trade with DeAndre Hopkins was just brutal, thanks Bill O'Brien. But, I thought he did better than what we thought he was going to do. People were thinking he was a terrible running back, he's washed, but he did okay. He also had 33 receptions for 314 yards and 2 touchdowns. Almost had about 1,000 yards combined in a campaign last season, which is not too bad. Philip Lindsay and Mark Ingram, both 1-year deals. I like these two. I think this is a very good running back room, this 3-headed monster of speed, versatility, and power that you present here with Mark Ingram, Lindsay, and David Johnson. You also have Rex Burkhead. It's a very, very deep room here. It's going to be a committee, definitely. But I'm not sure. Maybe somebody could be traded here. I just don't know. But I like this combo for now. It presents a lot of unique situations for defenses, and I think getting fresh legs in every down is very good for this team because you're going to be relying on the running game a lot. And now this offensive line, I think it's a solid offensive line this year. Laramie Tunsil, he had COVID, still one of the best left tackles in the league. He should be a building block for the future to me. We got Marcus Cannon in a trade with the Pats. It was a draft swap for 4th, 5th, and 6th round picks. We also signed Justin Britt as a center. I think he's good if he stays healthy. And Titus Howard, he's now our left guard. I think he's going to be great in that position like he did in college. Charlie Heck is supposed to play right tackle. He's supposedly supposed to be much better at that position right now. He's on COVID, so maybe Marcus Cannon gets a start. And then Max Sharping is right guard. I think this is going to be an okay offensive line, and they need to be okay, especially with Tyrod Taylor in the backfield. But, I don't think they're going to be that bad. I don't think they're going to give up a lot of sacks as much as they did last year. And now this defense, to me, this defense is going to be better, much better than they did last year. This defensive line is pretty stacked on the edges with Whitney Merciless, who's been great. He's a bit older now. He needs to stay healthy. Whitney Merciless has been so good for this team. He's one of my favorite players. And then Jacob Martin. To me, I really like Jacob Martin on this team. He's been great. He really shows up to me. And then Charles Omenihu, he was also another great player. You have a lot of depth here in this in the defensive end positions for the Texans. Obviously, J.J. Watt. The edge positions are relatively okay. I'm just not sure how much pressure we are going to be generating consistently. And then Malik Collins, to me, on the inside, he's going to be a great help. He had 0 sacks last season. I think he's going to help a lot, especially in the pass rush department. I just don't know about run stuff. I just don't think our run defense is going to be that good. I think we need more help in that spot. And now the rookies. I want to talk about the young players, not the rookies. Ross Blacklock, Jonathan Grenard. To me, the switch to the Tampa 2-4-3 defense is going to really help out Ross Blacklock, the 2nd-round pick out of TCU last year. It's going to help him get more playing time. And then Jonathan Grenard is now off the edge as a defensive end. The 3rd-round pick last year on the 4-3 defense is going to help him a lot. Showcase his talents. He can make plays on the ball, which is something I want to see. Grenard, to me, is somebody to watch for this season. And then Zach Cunningham is going to be a leader of this defense. He's a great, young, tall, quick player. Has all the intangibles, all the assets you need for a great linebacker. He got 3 sacks last season and led the team in tackles overall. We have a tons of linebackers on this team because Nick Caserio got so many 1-year deals. We traded Shaq Lawson. I didn't like that trade, honestly. I would have kept Shaq Lawson. We did get some picks out of that. We gave up Benardrick McKinney to get Lawson, then we gave Lawson for picks. So, I didn't really like that whole ordeal of stuff going on right there. I would have kept Shaq Lawson because he's a young player. And then Christian Kirksey, to me, was a great free agency signing from the Packers. He's going to really help in this Tampa 2. He's a solid player all the way around in all sides. He's a veteran player. You know, you have linebackers Kamu Grugier-Hill, Kevin Pierre-Louis, Joe Thomas. You have a lot of depth here, and you need that for a Tampa 2 defense. So I think this team really fits well for Lovie Smith's defensive system. Bradley Roby was just traded to the Saints just a couple of days ago for a 2022 third-round pick and a 2023 conditional 6th-round pick. You know, personally, I would have loved to have a 2nd-round pick come, because to me, I really liked Roby on this team. He is a very physical guy. He made big plays. I just liked what he had athleticism-wise. And, you know, getting 2 picks out of him is not really too bad, but, you know, maybe a 2nd-round pick might be too much to ask for a 29-year-old cornerback. But, you know, you get 2 picks from it. It's not necessarily the worst thing. And I'm just wondering, you know, are the Texans suddenly going to be trading all these veteran players? You know, guys like, who knows, like a Brandon Cooks. I don't know what's going to happen, but I feel like this wasn't really a necessary trade, but they just did it anyway, just to get some picks back. Now for the cornerbacks, I think Desmond King was a very great signing from this team. He didn't look too great in the preseason. I really liked him as that punt returner. They got him from the tight ends. He's a good signing. And I'm excited to see what he can do. He's a very dynamic player. And if he makes plays, you look out, because he can go all the way back. And then Terrence Mitchell was another signing to me. He's kind of an average cornerback. Hargreaves, I do not like Vernon Hargreaves. He gives up way too much. And then the safeties, to me, are really a strong suit for this team, mostly because of Justin Reed, to me, because he's the leader of this defense. He's one of the best young safeties in the league. You know, he's a big physical guy, big hits. I love seeing him play. And then Lonnie Johnson, now at safety, I think he could be ready as a better fit in this, being a safety now, because he's a big hitter, very big and physical, that 2nd-round pick. I'm hoping he can show up this season. We also have Eric Murray as a backup safety. You know, so I think we're doing okay defensively. The linebackers are very good, solid starting corners, 1 good safety realistically, and a couple of good defensive end players and a good defensive tackle. You know, the defense is okay, offense is okay. You know, you're looking at kind of a just below average team here. Still got a long way to go. Caserio is just building this team bit by bit, seeing who fits in our system with the 1-year deals and building it on from there with our picks. So I like the way that Nick Caserio has been approaching things. To me, you know, when coming in here, I'm not sure what we expected from him, but he's made some really solid choices in free agency. I think we can trust him. I think he's a good GM to build up for the future. And now for my season prediction, you know, that football feeling, it's not going to be too great of a football feeling besides this week where I have the Texans winning. I just have a feeling, you know, that they're going to win, that they can beat the Jags. You know, to me, the floor for this team is 2-15. The ceiling is 5-12. I'm going to say somewhere in between, maybe 4 wins is probably reasonable. You can probably beat the Jaguars 1 time, right? Beat the Jets, maybe Panthers, maybe Dolphins, or maybe Patriots, one of those teams you can beat, but, you know, there's no reason to win. I don't want to win. I want the number 1 pick. That's what I want. So overall, you know, it's another football season for this Texans team, looking for another quarterback that we've done throughout this franchise's history. It's going to be a tough season, but strap in. There's going to be a lot to look out for this season. Lots of great players to watch and see if they can develop. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please down, hit the like, subscribe, comment in the comment section. What do you think of our Texans? And I hope to see you in the next video.